If you're building a career in tech right now, you're probably wondering where to place your bets. Well, today we're digging into a really important interview with OpenAI's CEO, Sam Altman. We're going to unpack his insights and build what is essentially a blueprint for navigating your career in this wild new age of AI.
And that quote right there, that really says it all, doesn't it? Altman isn't talking about just another tech trend. He sees this moment as a genuine, once-in-a-generation opportunity to work on something that could define your entire life's work. So, what does that actually mean for you? Let's dive in.
First things first, we need to grasp the sheer scale of what's happening. In Altman's view, this isn't just another wave like mobile or the cloud. No, he calls it a tectonic shift, something that is fundamentally changing the very ground that science and progress are built on.
See, his whole point is that if you look back through time, history has always been defined by these massive scientific pushes. Things like physics in the early 20th century or the internet in the 90s. And for him, there's absolutely no doubt that today, the single most important frontier, the place to be, is artificial intelligence.
And that's really the heart of his tectonic shift analogy. Just think about it for a second. This isn't just about a cool new app or a slightly faster processor. It's a foundational technology that's completely rewriting the rulebook for what's possible in pretty much every field you can imagine.
Okay, so if this thing is so huge, what's actually left to do? It's easy to look at something like ChatGPT and think, well, the big problems are basically solved, right? But according to Altman, that couldn't be further from the truth. He says we are still in the very early innings. The frontier is wide open.
And he points to some absolutely monumental challenges that are still out there completely unsolved. And we're not talking about small tweaks here. These are the big, fundamental questions. For instance, can we build an AI that doesn't just answer our questions, but can actually discover new science all by itself? That, plus solving the massive energy problem and figuring out what comes after transformers, these are just some of the huge territories left to explore.
And check this out. This comparison really hits home on that data efficiency problem. Look at the difference. You, a human, you can learn a new concept from maybe one or two examples. But today's AI, it needs to see like half the internet to do the same thing. Closing that huge gap, well, that's one of the biggest prizes in the entire field right now.
So all of this leads to the one question that's probably on your mind. With this massive, wide-open frontier, how do you navigate it? How do you make the right moves to build a career that matters?
This is it. This is the question that every single student and tech professional is wrestling with. There are so many options out there, from biotech to crypto. Where do you put your energy for the biggest impact?
And Altman's answer? It's about as direct as you can get. Yeah, he admits he's biased, of course he is, but his conviction is crystal clear. He believes that if you want to be at the center of the most important story of our generation, AI is it.
But his advice is so much deeper than just go work in AI. He gives this really powerful three-part playbook. 1, find your passion. Don't just chase a trend, find the problem that you genuinely can't stop thinking about. 2, find your people. Surround yourself with the smartest, most ambitious, and most optimistic people you possibly can. And 3, find your feedback loop. Build a system, a process, to constantly get input and get better at your craft. It's simple, but man, is it effective. And he even gets specific, dropping a huge hint for where the opportunities are. He points to AI security as being a very, very undervalued field. And that makes perfect sense, right? As these AI systems get more and more powerful, the challenge of keeping them safe and secure becomes this absolutely massive and critical new field.
All right, so let's shift gears and talk about what this whole tectonic shift means for the people who actually build stuff. Because let's be clear, the role of a software developer is about to get completely turned on its head. This timeline just lays it out so clearly. Altman makes this great parallel to the past. Remember when people talked about being an internet company or a mobile company? That sounds kind of ridiculous now because, of course, every company uses the internet. He predicts the exact same thing is going to happen with AI. Pretty soon, saying you're an AI company will be totally redundant. You'll just be a company, and it'll be assumed that you're smart.
And that evolution completely changes what it means to be a developer. We've already moved from writing every single line of code by hand to basically partnering with an AI. Well, the next step, according to Altman, is a full promotion. You're moving up from being the writer to being the director. You won't be sweating the syntax. You'll be describing the goal, the product, the vision, and the AI will handle the rest. Your job becomes about taste and vision and direction.
Okay, so if we're not going to be writing code line by line anymore,
then what skills are actually going to be valuable in this new world? Because the value is definitely shifting from the how to the what.
Think about it. Back in the day, the real frontier was all about building the fundamental tools themselves. If you knew how to write a compiler or design an operating system from scratch, you were basically a wizard. That was an incredibly rare and valuable skill.
But that's not where the action is anymore. Today, the leverage has moved up a level. Right now, the most valuable skill is knowing how to train the tool, how to build and fine-tune a powerful neural network. That's the current cutting edge.
But here's the kicker. Altman predicts we are on the verge of one more giant leap. Soon, when AI is just this incredibly powerful utility that's available to everyone, the most valuable skill won't be building it or even training it. It'll be using it. The biggest breakthroughs are going to come from people who can take this immense power and apply it to solve huge problems in science or create breathtaking new art, all without ever needing to know how the thing was built.
And that leaves us with this incredible, mind-bending final thought. When our tools become this powerful, when they can handle all the technical details for us, it frees up our human minds. So what new problems, what new questions, what new frontiers will we turn to next? That's the landscape we're all about to step into.